Good morning, everybody. Yesterday was the opening ceremony for the Olympic Games in Paris this year, 2024. And you, like me, are probably absolutely shocked and flabbergasted at just how degenerate and disgusting this opening ceremony was. We've seen things like this before to some level. The ceremony of the London Olympic Games in 2012 was obviously some kind of demonic thing telling us about people being injected with things in the hospital beds, and then that led on to what happened in 2020. But this was just on a whole other level, openly mocking Christianity, taking Leonardo da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper from 1498, and here we are, 500 years after that, 525 years, okay, whatever, give or take a few years. And here you've got disgusting transvestites, transgender people mocking one of the most beautiful things in Christian culture, in history, and making a total disgusting inversion of this, fronted with some weird pagan blue smurf rising out of some big bowl of food, transgender people dancing on a podium stage, a golden calf on the main stage where they raised the Olympic flag, which was upside down, indicating, traditionally that indicates some kind of distress, perhaps an inversion, perhaps something is being predicted that is going to happen, that is very distressing over the next few days. But the opening ceremony itself was utterly appalling. The Olympic Games is supposed to be about excellence, physical excellence, the height of human achievement, what is possible as a human being to achieve on your own in your athletic prowess. And that's what it has been over most of the modern period. I mean, certainly since it started just over 100 years ago, again, the modern Olympic period. But just in the last 2 or 3 or 4 Olympic Games, we've had these really weird ceremonies that have departed completely from trying to celebrate human achievement and human excellence into looking at, I don't know what on earth we're looking at here. I mean, it is satanic, obviously, and a few people have commented on this, that they're mocking Christianity, and even the Muslims are upset about this because Muslims revere Jesus as a prophet. I would disagree with them. That he's not just a prophet; he is the Son of God. But they revere Jesus. But interestingly, the person who put this together, the artistic director, I can't remember his name now, I just looked it up, but he is a Jewish man. Apparently he's a homosexual as well. So very interesting that you've got someone with these two characteristic groups making or putting together a ceremony for the Olympic Games, which should celebrate beauty and aesthetic beauty and achievement, and has inverted that and presenting us with all kinds of disgusting, abnormal ugliness, and mocking our culture and mocking humanity. And that's what it is. You look at some of the other ceremonies outside the West. This only seems to happen in Western countries. You had the London one I mentioned. This is in Paris. But, look at some of the footage from the opening of the I think it's 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi in Russia. And it was beautiful. You had the Bolshoi ballet dancing, celebrating beauty, celebrating excellence, things that will uplift you and uplift your soul when you see it. Was you see these things that you had yesterday in Paris, at the very least, it is demoralizing to your soul because you're presented with disgusting ugliness rather than beauty and excellence. This is anti-human that we've got now. I mean, even the Chinese opening ceremony in 2008, for all its humanism and communism, was some kind of excellence in there. The sort of drummers, 100 or 1,000 of people drumming, in unison. You can see that clip if you look at it. It's easy to find, and it's uplifting in some way, even though it doesn't have any Christianity in it. But when you have the Chinese Communist Party doing something which is vastly superior to this thing we've got now in Paris, the West is lost culturally, and we've got all these people in positions in entertainment, in art, in media, in politics, in business, all over the areas of society where they've got control over what we see, what we hear, what tries to come into our mind to program us and manipulate us into what to think. And they're all deplorable. They're inverting our culture, and they're not content to just go somewhere else and do something. If they want to do something degenerate, they can go somewhere else and make a degenerate thing on their own. They're not content to do that. They want to take over everything that has been built over the centuries of beautiful Christian culture that we have in the West, and invert it and make the beauty of what we have had and built up over so many centuries into something which is satanically inverted into something anti-human, anti-Christian, anti-beauty, and just full of disgusting ugliness. And this is what has been happening in an accelerated pace in the last 10 years. And in a way, I hate to say this, but Muslims wouldn't stand for this. I don't agree with Islam. Of course I don't. I'm a Christian. I don't agree with the Quran and what it says. But Muslims will stand up for their culture. They're not going to have any of this trans degeneracy. You're not going to find that in Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates or any other Muslim country. They're not going to have it. I mean, when Muslims and Chinese communists can stand on the moral high ground and talk down to us in the West, that something has really, really gone wrong. We need to take back our civilization and kick out these people who are degenerating it from within. We need to smash cultural Marxism. Yesterday makes me more determined than ever that I'm going to do everything I can to do that, not just in this country, in the UK. Obviously I've created a political party, the Heritage Party, to stand at elections and to stand up against all of these things which are ruining our nation here in the UK. But in the whole of our Western, I hate to say it, former Christian civilization, we need to smash that and take it back and restore not just our nation here in the UK, and I'm very, very much committed to that, but restore our whole civilization and kick out these degenerates.